A history lesson of how video auctions started and lots of feeder cattle are selling next week. Crew, let's ranch it up. Good day, everyone, and thanks for riding with us on this all-new episode of the Ranch It Up Radio Show. I'm Jeff Tigger Erhardt. Next week is the Week in the Rockies sale from Superior Livestock Auction. We'll get to those details here in just a little bit, but think about this for a sec. Do you remember the first time that you tuned in and you watched? The first video sale started back in 1982, and the first Superior Livestock video sale was back in 1987 at the National Western Stock Show in Denver. Ted Odle from Superior Livestock joins us today. Ted, welcome to the program. Let's start from the beginning. This is such a neat story. Start from the beginning with your dad, because that's how it all started.
Superior Livestock was my dad's brainstorm, and I've been with it ever since we started it. And in 1986, we met with this fellow named Buddy Jeffers, who owned Amarillo Video. We were the only two video companies at that time. So we teamed up with Buddy and formed Superior Livestock in late 1986. First auction would have been in 1987 at the stock show in Denver, the old bell ringer sale that they used to have, you know, every year at the stock show with, you know, the live cattle. That was the very first sale under the Superior Livestock name and logo, was back then. And we never dreamt it would grow to where it's at. I mean, that was never a goal for this company to be selling almost 2 million head of cattle a year. But we had just a handful of reps and good reps, and everybody believed in it. And it's been a heck of a good company, heck of a ride over the years.
So what was the reception like back in 1987? I did the math quick in my head. Well, it took me a little bit there. 38 years ago, Ted, what was the reception like at, let's go all the way back to the first one, 1987 at the stock show, the bell ringer sale. What was the reception like of selling cattle via video, via satellite?
You know, the reception was actually better then than when we originally started. I mean, you can imagine when we first started this thing, and my dad and Dave Whalert, who Dave has passed, but my dad and Dave Whalert, they're the ones that started this thing. It was kind of their idea. We owned the sale barn forever at Brush, Colorado. In fact, there was 2 barns in Brush, and my dad's barn burnt down in the early 60s. And so we built a brand new one. And he always had this idea of, we got a lot of cattle off the west slope of Colorado at the time, out of Kremling and Walden and that part of the world. And so the ranchers would bring all their cattle to us, and Dave Whalert who knew a lot of the ranchers over there, and he was working with my dad and getting cattle over. And my dad says, just hit me one day. He said, you know, we got these ranchers from Walden and Kremling, bring all their cattle to us. Their neighbors show up and buy their heifer calves or something to breed, and then haul them all the way back. He said, there's just got to be a better way to do this that's easier on the cattle and on the ranchers. And so they come up with this idea. So you can imagine going to a rancher back in the early 80s and saying, hey, we're going to bring our video camera out here and videotape these things, and we're all going to go sit down in a nice motel ballroom and have steaks and some beverages, and we're going to sell cattle with videotape. You know, there was a lot of people said, oh, boys, that'll never work. But it was our customers in Kremling and Walden in North Park, Colorado, that actually helped us. They were the ones that went with us originally, the Hills and all of those people. They said, yeah, let's give it a whirl. And it just grew from there. Believe me, it didn't happen overnight, but it was quite a sale. Luckily, we had some good old ranchers that went with us, and they've stuck with it. We still sell cattle for a lot of those people today, 40 years down the road. If I remember right, we were still selling calves in the 60, 70 cent range.
Right.
Back then, and we put on a rep, and he worked the Utah, Wyoming area. One of the first reps we ever put on. He's no longer with us, been gone some time, but I can still remember Jerry. He had a couple of lots on, and Jerry was a salesman. I mean, Jerry could sell John Deere parts to an international dealer. I mean, he was good. but he got a couple of lots on. He came to, I think it was back then, the only sale we had was Labor Day. And when we formed Superior, we decided, well, we needed Labor Day. And of course, we talked about the stock show special. And so we were adding a couple, 3 sales a year. So Jerry came to the first Labor Day sale, sold his cattle. And I'll never forget, he had a little handheld recorder and he was recording the sale. And he took that recorder back and he got on 3 radio stations out around Evanston, Wyoming, and Randolph, Utah, and out in there. And all they did was played the auctioneer selling cattle. And it was a couple of his lots, so everybody recognized the name, for some of their neighbors, and Jerry's phone number. And he had like 5,000 head on the next sale. People are going, whoa, what's this about? So back in those days, their closest market from Evanston, Wyoming was Torrington. And they were having to haul those cattle a long way. The buyers that were in the country were literally offering them 20 cents less in the country than what we were getting. He proved to them, this is what we can get you for your cattle. And they ship right from your back door.
It takes quite a bit to put this together. Let me back up and just say this. Yeah. It takes people that are committed to allowing, and we're still back in 1987 now, and the concept, it takes customers willing to commit their product to being sold this way, but it also takes buyers. So how did you go about getting buyers to buy into this concept? No pun intended.
Between my dad and Dave Whalert, they had a really good rapport with a lot of buyers, mainly along the Front Range of Colorado. Frank Booth was a big proponent of Frank's. He's one of the old guys that's gone now, but there was Frank Booth, Bill Howard, and a lot of the old guys that I can remember that, they're all gone these days, but we presented the deal to them. And of course, their theory was, well, we'll give it a try. And, if we like it, we'll do it again. If we don't like it, we won't do it again. It's that simple. So, making sure the cattle were right, they fit the contract. We shipped them what we told them we'd ship them. That became a big part of Superior and still is to this day. I mean, I had a young rep the other day ask me, he said, what do you think's the number one thing a rep can do for Superior today to make himself better and be successful as a rep? And I thought about it. I said, you know what it is? Ship your cattle according to the contract. Deliver what you said you're going to deliver as far as weight, kind, breed type, the whole deal. You do that, and the rest of it takes care of itself. So it's a lot of the core fundamentals that we started clear back then are still in place today.
Ted Odle with Superior Livestock. Hey, Ted, just hold on here a tick. I want to key in on the sale next week, and we'll talk about that next after the break. And remember, if you have not committed your calves or consigned your calves yet, deadlines for the Video Royale, the end of July, the Bighorn Classic, and the Labor Day sale are fast approaching. We have all of those dates laid out for you on ranchchannel.com. Really easy to follow along to find out exactly when those deadlines are. Crew, you're listening to the Ranch It Up radio show, and we will be right back. Keep it parked.